President Brown, I believe we're ready to start.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I can't see Jason's countdown. Good evening. Welcome to the special virtual meeting to consider the application of the Vision Academy Charter School of Innovation. The special meeting for the consideration of the Vision Academy Charter School of Innovation shall come to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. During this unprecedented time, while social distancing requirements are in place, the Upper Darby School District needs to continue certain aspects of its business, which includes decisions concerning pandemic planning. For this reason, the Upper Darby School District will continue regularly scheduled school board meetings while pandemic-related restrictions imposed by Governor Wolf and any local authorities are still in place. It is the plan of the school board to hold these meetings with the minimum required departures from normal operating procedures. The Upper Darby School District School Board COVID-19 Special Operating Procedures document outlines expected departures from those normal operating procedures and the policy justifications for such departures. At the start of each board meeting, held while pandemic-related restrictions are in place, the board will review the departures from normal operating procedures as well as their justifications. While social distancing requirements are in place, the Upper Darby School District School Board finds it necessary to hold virtual school board and school board committee meetings to complete required business. These virtual meetings will allow for public viewing and participation. Following practices already in place for regular meetings, all virtual school board meetings, in addition to allowing near real-time public viewing and participation, will be recorded and the recordings made available after the meeting. In order to hold virtual school board meetings, adjustments need to be made following existing board policy. These adjustments have been outlined in the Upper Darby School District School Board COVID-19 Special Operating Procedures. Dr. McGarry, can you talk about how people can participate in tonight's meeting, please, sir?
Yes, Board President Brown, thank you. During these unprecedented times, the Upper Darby School District has maintained every opportunity for public participation during meetings. Tonight is no different. We have asked for public comments to come in at charter comments, again, charter comments at upperdarbysd.org. It's important that you leave your name, address, and your comment so the board can take that into consideration this evening. If you'd like to phone in your comment, you can phone it in at 610-789-7200, extension 2000. You must also leave your name, your address, and commenting on the application this evening. Board President Brown, if need be, I can provide an update on how to participate this evening throughout the presentation.
Thank you, sir. Roll call, Board Secretary, Mr. Rogers, please.
As I state your name, please state that you are present and can hear the proceedings. Dr. Haig.
I am present and can hear the proceedings.
Mr. Desnoyers.
I am present and can hear the proceedings.
Mr. Warsavage.
I am present and can hear the proceedings.
Mr. Neal.
Good evening. I am present and can hear the proceedings.
Mrs. Dawes.
Good evening. I'm present and I can hear the proceedings.
Mr. Fields.
Good evening. I am present and I can hear the proceedings.
Mrs. Mitchell.
Good evening. I am present and I can hear the proceedings.
Mrs. Curry.
Good evening. I am present and I can hear the proceedings.
Mr. Brown.
Good evening. I'm present and I can hear the proceedings. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. The following motion shall be applicable for tonight's meeting. Policy 003 allows the board to suspend policies or alter policies when appropriate. Therefore, due to the current ongoing crisis, I make the following motions to suspend language in two of the board's policies until the next regularly scheduled meeting. Policy 006.1, which regulates attendance at meetings via electronic communications, I move to suspend the language requiring board members to be present. Specifically, the language would be a majority of board members shall be physically present at a board meeting when a board member attends through electronic communications. And policy 006, which governs other requirements of board meetings, I move the suspension of language requiring that those members of the public wishing to participate be present. Specifically, the language in this section titled Public Participation will remove the words that read present at a board meeting. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Mitchell. All those in favor, please signify.
Aye.
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 Those opposed, please say I oppose and state your name for the record. Those abstaining, please say I abstain and state your name for the record. The motion carries. I will now turn over the meeting to our special counsel, Mr. Fitzgerald. Please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. Good evening, everybody. My name is Mark Fitzgerald. I'm with the law firm of Fox Rothschild, and I will be the presiding hearing officer over tonight's hearing involving the charter application of Vision Academy Charter School of Innovation. Before I go into some detail of the proceedings for this evening, I just would like to confirm that our stenographer has been taking the testimony and roll call for this hearing.
Yes, I have.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. We won't have to redo roll call for the board. And before I go into the background of the charter school hearing, I'd like to take this opportunity to have representatives of the applicant identify themselves, first and last name, well as their role in the application and or what their role would be with the school should it be established next year.
Are you ready?
I am ready. Go ahead.
How you doing? I am Anthony Joseph Mooring. I am one of the founders of Vision Charter School for Innovation. My role is helping put this charter school together. I did a lot of the writing, and I'll be doing the presentation. I'll be the lead presenter tonight.
Anybody else from your team, Mr. Mooring?
Yes, I'd like to show, we have Miss Brenda Thomas. She's one of our consultants. She'll be speaking on our parent partnerships. I'd like to introduce Mr. Brian Leisenhauser. He is our attorney, and he will be here for support and is answering any questions as needed.
Okay.
Mr. Michael Wiseman will be one of our presenters. He's one of our consultants for the financing of the charter school. And Ms. Hamilton, I'm looking for her. Okay, Ms. Hamilton will be presiding. Ms. Hamilton, she will be presenting our core knowledge platform from the charter. And Mr. Adam Kynes is in the area and will be supporting the presentation also.
Okay, and to our stenographer, were you able to get all those names for the record?
Yes, I was. Thank you.
And I have one more. Miss Tina Chambers is also one of our founding members, and she will be participating as well.
Very well. This hearing this evening will be the opportunity for the applicant to present what was provided to the district in mid-November of this year, and that's the application to establish a charter school. This is the first of at least two hearings. The second hearing is scheduled for later on in January, where the district will present its review of the application and, to the extent necessary, ask questions of the applicants that are available at that hearing. The hearing this evening is guided by two general areas of law and regulation. First and foremost, it is guided by the Charter School Law of 1997. This is a law that established in part the provisions upon which an application comes before school districts in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Within 45 days of receipt of an application, the local board of school directors in which the proposed charter school is to be located shall hold at least one public hearing on the provisions of a charter application. Tonight is hearing one, and we are within the 45-day window of that requirement. Not later than 75 days after the first public hearing on the application, The local board of school directors shall grant or deny the application. This would mean that from tonight, we will then count forward 75 days upon which the board will need to take action on the application that has been presented to the school district. The standards upon which the application will be considered is guided by statute as well as the regulation policy 140. Specifically, the charter school law notes that a charter school application submitted under the law shall be evaluated by the local board of school directors based on a criteria, including but not limited to the following. 1, the demonstrated sustainable support for the charter school plan by teachers, parents, other community members, and students, including comments received at the public hearing held under this part. We will hear public comment later this evening. Public comment will also be available at the second hearing in January. 2, the capability of the charter school applicant in terms of support and planning to provide comprehensive learning experiences to students pursuant to the adopted charter. 3, the extent to which the application considers the information that is requested in the charter school law and conforms with the legislative intent of the law itself. And 4, the extent to which the charter school may serve as a model for other public schools. So with that understanding, as well as policy 140, which the applicants have already been working with administrative individuals with regard to the review process. Mr. Maureen, I will turn this meeting over to you and your team to provide background with regard to your application.
Thank you. I'm going to start to share my screen so I can pull up the PowerPoint to present. Is it?
Mr. Maureen, will this be a PowerPoint that you can provide us a copy of just for the record, so we have a copy of it?
Yes, you'll have a copy.
Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll get started. I want to just say thank you all for taking out your time to meet with us and hear our argument for our charter school in Upper Darby Public Schools. So we look forward to the meeting and hope that you find our information useful for your district. All right, before we get started, I just wanted to take a minute to kind of give a summary of who we are and how we came together. I am Anthony Maureen. I'm coming with over 20 years of experience in education, primarily as a school counselor, department chair, dean of students, assistant principal, education consultant, and board member. Our team is comprised of parents, family members, community members from Upper Darby and the surrounding area. We have Ms. Tina Chambers, who would serve as our board treasurer. She's a parent and a frontline worker in the healthcare industry. Mr. Adam Kynes, who is a doctoral candidate, educational leader, and consultant with 20 plus years of experience. Ms. Kimberly Peace is also an Upper Darby parent, administrative support manager, customer service specialist, professional development manager, and she also works within the community of Upper Darby, works with parents in the community of Upper Darby. Ms. Glover is a former director of special education services, former director of pupil services, adjunct, and is currently an adjunct professor, certified school administrator, teacher of math, science, and special education, with 20 plus years of diverse experience. Ms. Monique Huggins is a parent in Upper Darby School District, a healthcare professional, and is also willing to be a board member, community board member for our school, if allowed to open. Another parent, Ms. Princess Adebimi is a parent, a therapeutic support staff who works in Delaware County and Philadelphia area, a caseworker and program coordinator, and is also a parent in the Upper Darby School District. Mr. Kamal Butu is also a member of the Upper Darby community, a community advocate, political leader, and committee member who is also looking forward to seeing a charter school open in the Upper Darby School District. We came together as just concerned people about education in this community and kind of had this concept of a school that we'd like to open, and hence we moved forward from there, moved forward from there. We will also hear from some of our consultants as needed. Mr. Brian Lionhauser, who is our attorney, Miss Laura Ann Forth. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Brian Lionhauser and Lori Ann Forer from the McMahon, Connell, and Lausenhauser law firm. Diane Hamilton of Core Knowledge, she will do her presentation on Core Knowledge. Ms. Brenda Thomas from Johns Hopkins University will present on our parent and community partnership model. And Mr. Wiseman, Michael Wiseman, is the CPA from Charter Choices, who will go over the funding aspect of our application. So what is this big picture of Vision Academy School of Innovation? Yeah, we are replicating many of the features from Vision Academy Charter School in William Penn School District. It's located in Lansdowne. We're taking some of the things that work well in that school. We're going to implement them in this vision. We're also we would like to open in August of 2021. We will start with kindergarten through 4th grade and grow a grade level each year. One of our features we're looking forward to is a small and safe school with small class sizes. We're looking at a school that will offer an 8-to-1 teacher ratio. We're looking at possibly 20 kids to a room. Of course, we'll be located in the Upper Darby School District. I'm going to go over next to some of the 5 pillars of our school. We will be a school that is going to use based core knowledge sequence and framework, extended day program, and longer instructional hours. So our day will go from approximately 8 to 3:30, and again with an after extended day learning program. We want to teach world languages starting from kindergarten. Our instruction will be data driven, not just from state testing data, but from classroom observation, data, and information. We're going to use a flipped classroom model along with our core sequence model for grades 5 through 8. This will be a project-based learning with full integrated smart labs for all students, learners in STEM and media arts. And again, we want to work with our parents and our communities to make real partners in learning with our community. The mission statement of Vision Charter Academy Charter School of Innovation is to prepare our students in kindergarten through 8th grade to become responsible and articulate students and citizens by using a comprehensive curriculum designed to foster academic success, current technologies to build self-reliance. Our core philosophy. The core philosophies of Vision Academy Charter School of Innovation, is that all students can achieve and be successful through fidelity of implementation of the 5 research-based pillars presented in this application. Precision, scope, and sequence supported through quality curriculum and extended day and small class and environment to ensure mastery of content. So what we'll be doing is we'll have our regular school day. This will be a little longer than what's going on in Upper Darby schools right now. And then we'll also extend those days into an after-school program for students to be aftercare with opportunities to learn and participate in clubs. Calculated delivery model that is redefined and improved through use of data. We are number crunchers. We will look at the data of our students that are coming in. We will look at how they progress throughout the quarters and semesters and make adjustments to their education as needed. Frequently demonstration of student achievement beyond the test through project-based learning and online learning opportunities that will lead to each student towards autonomous education and advocacy. So one of the things that we will do through our flipped classrooms is students will have the opportunity to actually take school home with them. So we will be a one-to-one school where our students will have devices, and on those devices, they'll be able to access learning videos and programs that we put together from our teachers that they can actually use at home or on their own time to continue the learning that's taking place in school. Consistent use of school-wide and individual positive behavior support systems. Again, we will use various support systems to keep our students in a positive way. Part of it will be some form of a PBIS program where students are part of the creation of school rules and creating like a normative culture, which means good behavior is not a rule, it's just an expectation. It'll be something that we build into the culture of our students. Authentic parental engagement that breaks down walls of education, disenfranchisement, and builds strong homes and school relations. One of the key things with Vision Academy Charter School of Innovation is making this a school for the community. When we say school, we're really saying our school is going to be like a community center. So not only will you have your learning that take place, the typical kind of a school day, you'll have our after school programs, and with parent partnerships, we'll build those into weekend programs. So parents, community members, and school members can all benefit from this charter. So the big question is why we're all here tonight. Why a public charter school and why in Upper Darby? We offer a new option to our community. We want to have people have a choice to choose whether they want to pay for school, use the current public schools, or apply to be a part of a charter school system. We want to become a valuable asset to the district. We don't see this as a competition, but more of a partnership. We would like you to be a part of our success and to help us be successful. And we believe if we work together, this is possible. Build a new system from the ground up. So this is the opportunity to put something new in, a little different from what everybody sees every day, but nonetheless still effective. New staff and administrators who are committed to our educational model from day one. Again, we're going to be using core knowledge and direct instruction, which will have our staff ready and understanding and push that model from day one that the door is open. Clear expectations of students and families that consistently implement from day one. Again, we want to work with our community, our parents, and other constituents that want to help us move forward. So again, our vision is to have a school that is built in and becoming a part of the community of Upper Darby. Foundations for learning. So some of the pillars, we're going to go into our pillars. Research-based core knowledge sequence, and we believe this will improve student achievement, continuity, and content between all grades. Mastery of information builds knowledge. And of course, there is information through their website. So to give you a better understanding of core knowledge, we have more than an expert. We want to let Ms. Diane Hamilton take over, and she will present on the core knowledge sequence and framework.
And Ms. Morgan, could you just clarify what Ms. Hamilton's role would be within the school? Is she just a consultant of the applicant? She's not going to be affiliated with the school?
She will be a consultant. We will call on her expertise as needed and when needed. Yeah. Ms. Hamilton, are you ready to share your screen?
Yeah, I will.
I'm going to stop sharing.
I think, okay, let's see if I can do that.
I mean, I can pull it. I do have it. I can pull it up if you need me to.
All right, hang on. Let's see if I can get it to come up. Are you able to see it? Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see
Okay,
it.
thank you. All right, well, good evening. I'm Diane Hamilton, and I am a Core Knowledge consultant and a trainer for the Core Knowledge Foundation. I have over 35 years in education and over 10 years of experience with Core Knowledge. So I'm just going to present to you the basics of the Core Knowledge curriculum and tell you a little bit about what it can offer schools and then be available for questions if need be. And since most people are unsure of what the curriculum is, where it came from, I'm going to start with a background and then discuss what it looks like and what is needed. So let's start at the beginning. In the far left corner there, you see a picture of Dr. Eric Donald Hirsch. He's the founder of the Core Knowledge Foundation. And Dr. Hirsch was raised in Memphis, Tennessee, and attended school in Woodstock, Illinois, studied English at Cornell University, and got his PhD from Yale, and then taught for many years as the head of composition at the University of Virginia. His work in education reform was really sparked by a study that he did in the 1970s. And while conducting research at a pair of Virginia colleges, he discovered that texts rely on unspoken, assumed knowledge that readers may or may not know. Let me explain this. The discovery occurred when he gave two groups of college students passages to read on familiar topics. In this instance, he noted that community college students in Richmond, Virginia, were able to comprehend, as well as students from the prestigious UVA. But when the community college students were given passages that required prior knowledge that they didn't have, they weren't able to comprehend the passages. For example, they had difficulty understanding a passage on Ulysses S. Grant and Robert E. Lee because many of them were unfamiliar with anything more than a superficial understanding of the Civil War. These students did not have the background knowledge they needed to make sense of unspoken knowledge that the text was assuming. So since then, Dr. Hirsch has argued that without background knowledge of history, literature, art, music, science, mathematics, that students will read, but without any real comprehension. Reading is really more than an ability to decode or sound out words, but one that requires adequate background knowledge or cultural literacy. Subsequent research by others in the field validated his work. For example, in 1988, Recht and Leslie conducted a study where they divided a group of junior high students into 4 equal-sized groups on the basis of their pre-assessed reading ability, high and low, and their pre-assessed knowledge of baseball, high and low. Each student was asked to silently read an account of an inning of baseball, and after reading, they were to retell the story by moving figures on a baseball diamond. As expected, those with high reading ability and high knowledge of baseball did the best. Those with low reading ability, low knowledge of baseball did the worst. But let's look at the middle groups. Think to yourself for a moment. Who do you think performed better? Strong readers with low knowledge of baseball or poor readers with high knowledge of baseball? Well, the findings were that poor readers who knew a lot about baseball actually did better. Already knowing something about the subject matter compensated for their poor reading ability. This indicates that reading is not a transferable skill. Just because you can read one text does not mean you can read all text. And you may have experienced this yourself if you've ever picked up a journal of medicine, engineering, or remote sensing. You need background knowledge in those fields and the domain vocabulary to really comprehend what you're reading. So through repeat studies, researchers agree with Hirsch that there are 2 keys to reading. One key is decoding, and the other key is comprehension. Core Knowledge believes in the efficacy of a systematic phonics program with decodable readers. Those are readers that actually have the phonics in there that students have already learned, and teaching content knowledge, language, and vocabulary that is supported by brief strategy instruction. UVA cognitive psychologist Dan Willingham has written extensively about the use of brief strategy instruction to support readers, because research has shown that only a few lessons in reading strategies are really needed. Similar to checking your worth in mathematics, it's more about remembering to use those strategies than needing extensive practice in them. The time is better spent learning background knowledge. The ELA and phonics program of CKLA, or Core Knowledge Language Arts, addresses the first key in learning how to read. Those skills emphasized in the second key, content, background knowledge, language, and vocabulary, each play a vital role in reading to learn. Hearing language receptively precedes speaking or writing language expressively. Thus, listening to formal language from an early age exposes children to knowledge, vocabulary, and syntax. This language development is predictive of success in reading. Through the development of a broad base of background knowledge begun even before a child can read, a child becomes more able to comprehend text that is read aloud and can think about what it says. So they're really getting a head start with those read alouds. Building content knowledge also creates a schema for concepts that can be drawn upon to aid comprehension once students begin to read independently. Acquiring academic and topic-specific vocabulary enables one to understand nuances and pull meaning from a text. So these three things working together really allow students to get smarter in almost any field of knowledge. So based on these ideas, in 1986, Dr. Hirsch founded the Core Knowledge Foundation, a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization based in Charlottesville, Virginia, near UVA. A year later, in 1987, he published Cultural Literacy, What Every American Needs to Know, the first of many of his books on this topic. In the book, he argued that schools should teach a shared curriculum that would allow all children to understand the assumed knowledge that writers and speakers take for granted. The premise is what led to the development of the core knowledge sequence. Educators wanted a curriculum that would reflect this knowledge building approach. So in the early 1990s, a committee was formed to draft a curricular framework, which is now known as the core knowledge sequence. The development of the sequence involved a lengthy and rigorous process of research and consensus building, with multiple stakeholder groups taking several things into consideration. First, they took an international perspective. The developers considered the knowledge and skills specified in successful educational systems in other countries, including France, Japan, Sweden, and West Germany. Second, they examined national reports issued by state departments of education and by professional organizations such as National Council Teachers of Mathematics and the American Association for the Advancement of Science. Third, they considered state and district guidelines, and the sequence today still allows for adjustments that align with state requirements. Additionally, the developers included both subject matter experts as well as multicultural advisors to contribute to the development and review process. About 150 teachers, college professors, scientists, and administrators were involved in this step. In the final stage of development, another 100 educators and specialists participated in a consensus building conference in which they hammered out the working agreement on the proposed core of knowledge. The participants in the conference included elementary school teachers, curriculum specialists, scientists, science writers, officers of national organizations, experts from a variety of ethnic groups, district superintendents, and school principals from across the country. A total of 24 working groups decided on the first draft of the sequence. And the resulting provisional sequence was field tested and further fine-tuned in a year of implementation by a pioneering school in Three Oaks Elementary in Lee County, Florida. Periodically, the sequence has been updated and is currently being updated so that the science portion comes in line with the new next generation science standards. The foundation is currently working on that revision, and it can be found on the Core Knowledge website. Hard copies will be available in late 2021. The sequence informs a practical curriculum in which knowledge builds on knowledge. And you can see here a school plan that shows the content topics, or what we call domains, through which the English language arts skills are taught in grades K through 5 in CKLA. Notice that knowledge builds both within and across grades. If you look across grades, as indicated by that top red arrow, one can see and you can follow the history topics and see how they spiral across the years. Notice the boxes highlighted in yellow. In kindergarten, the unit on important people in American history builds background for colonial towns and townspeople in kindergarten, which builds background for frontier explorers in grade 1, westward expansion in grade 2, early exploration of North America in grade 3, the American Revolution in grade 4, Native Americans in grade 5, and so forth through the years. You can see the knowledge builds across grades. Now, if we look also within a grades, take a look at kindergarten with the down arrow. You can see the science example highlighted in pink, and that builds throughout the year. For example, students start out learning about plants, then farms where plants grow, then seasons and weather and their impact on plants and farms, and then they build a rationale for taking care of the earth. This coherently builds knowledge from a micro to a macro science perspective, and sometimes does it vice versa, macro to micro as well. The sequence is intentional, which allows schools to include additional sequence topics that may not be included, or state topics that they might have to teach because of their state requirements. It coherently builds knowledge from micro to macro, as you can see here. The curriculum is designed with 4 characteristics in mind. First, it is content rich. Core Knowledge doesn't leave the content to chance or to teacher whim, but it specifies what will be taught. Remember, the sequence had the consensus of experts in all of the fields. So instead of reading and writing about perhaps Captain Underpants, you'll find students absorbing and responding to really teach-worthy content in literature, such as the autobiography of Frederick Douglass. Next, the curriculum is coherent. This means it provides for a logical, orderly, and aesthetically consistent relationship of its parts. To ensure coherence, we apply filters for a consistent and logical progression of content. 2 simple examples that I hope are becoming clear are the study of history in chronological order and the study of science, either micro to macro or vice versa. In addition, the curriculum is cumulative. So as we've seen, this means it builds and spirals through time to ensure that knowledge accumulates and builds on prior knowledge both within and across grades. Finally, delivery of the curriculum is cross-curricular. So student learning is reinforced in multiple areas. For example, connections are made to and from the arts. The curriculum supports teachers of the visual and musical arts to balance the teaching of their own discipline with integrity, as well as make connections to grade level history and science topics. The Core Knowledge Foundation sees the arts not as a peripheral part of the curriculum, but as an essential part of the knowledge all children should learn in the early grades. A good understanding of the arts grows out of three modes of knowledge: the creative, directly making artworks, the historical, and the analytical. Early study of the arts embraces all three modes with a special emphasis on creativity and active participation. Students learn and demonstrate the elements of art in various mediums. However, they do it by connecting to the topics that students are studying in their core classroom, such as ancient Greece, ancient African kingdoms, Native Americans, or Japan. They even do read-alouds of books about art. In music, study could be vocal and instrumental. Cross-curricular connections are made in several ways, most typically from building relationships between authentic songs and their historical contexts, such as the Star-Spangled Banner and the Unit on the War of 1812, or Yankee Doodle and the Civil War. Another way is by studying musical concepts, such as the dynamics of music and their presence in songs with a historical context, such as the dynamics in the Star-Spangled Banner. Of course, along with the curriculum, teachers need hands-on materials from which to teach, and there are many available to schools, and within what is necessary, there are choices for schools. This at a glance indicates what is required and the instructional resources available for implementation. A school, of course, must have a math program, and they can make their own selections for that. I can tell you where to find and access choices for mathematics programs shortly. They must also have an ELA program, and core knowledge schools typically use Amplify's Core Knowledge Language Arts, the skills and the knowledge strands. There are core knowledge and third-party resources for building content units, and there are also CK history and science guide materials, both for teachers and students. Let's look at these more closely, and we'll start with what's required for mathematics. You need a comprehensive curriculum for both mathematics as well as English language arts. Comprehensive programs mean they provide guidance on how to teach, model, and reinforce specific skills, and that they have a scope and sequence that builds within the program. This is especially important if we want students to develop fluency in reading and computation. This goes beyond what's provided in the sequence or the teacher's handbooks. What you see there in red, edreports.org, that's a think tank of content specialists that have evaluated many programs for key criteria. You may be familiar with it already, but you can go online and see what math and ELA programs meet the criteria and which do not, according to state standards. These have been done for several programs for mathematics, and Core Knowledge Language Arts meets criteria for every single bullet. No matter what the program, approaches may be different from what the teachers are used to. So, of course, professional development unique to the program is always essential. For mathematics, we don't specify in Core Knowledge a particular math program, but we do suggest that schools adopt a rigorous program that provides a balance of conceptual understanding, computational fluency, and application. Of course, many of programs have gaps in one area or the other, so teachers may still need to supplement with open educational resources. With regard to English language arts, students should be exposed to text with rich language, syntax, and vocabulary that is academic as well as domain specific. And as with mathematics, supplements may be needed, but should be viewed with caution to maintain the chosen program's scope and sequence and avoid gaps and repetitions. We also recommend, especially in the early grades, that systematic synthetic phonics component be implemented. Systematic synthetic phonics is distinguished from schools that use incidental phonics. With incidental phonics, spelling patterns are opportunistically taught through text. This means a teacher may notice that a reader includes several words with the ER pattern and then seizes on that opportunity to teach that spelling pattern. However, systematic phonics, on the other hand, instruction around the code is intentional, explicit, and sequential. The synthetic term means that students are explicitly taught to recognize phonemes, the smallest unit of sound in words, and then blend them to sound out words. This is the approach taken in CKLA. Now, why is that important? Because our brains are hired for language, but not for reading and writing. Those must be taught. And second, because the English code is very complex. It's not like the Finnish language, which only has 26 sounds which correspond to their letters. There are 270 different pieces of code that make up the written English language. Third, reading research has found that systemic synthetic phonics is an effective method of teaching children how to read. The CKLA program has 2 strands in those early grades. In K2, each strand or block of ELA instruction has its own materials. The skills strand systematically teaches students sound spelling correspondences necessary to decode words and read accurately and fluently. The knowledge strand builds students' background knowledge and vocabulary on specific topics by listening to text read aloud, by discussing those texts, and by applying their knowledge in application activities. The strands in the early grades are intentionally separated so as not to create cognitive overload in our youngest learners. In grades 3 through 5, the strands are integrated and students learn their English language arts skills such as reading, writing, speaking, listening, grammar, and morphology through the content. There are also additional resources to CKLA to teach history, science, literature, and the arts. Many schools develop their own units for history, science, visual arts, and music by using long-standing core knowledge resources such as the teacher handbooks, which are available preschool through grade 5. And these prepare teachers with a wealth of background information for each of the content areas, as well as the guidelines in the sequence. So what your grader needs to know, for example, what your first grader, second grader, and so forth, those span preschool through grade 6. And they offer a guide to essential knowledge that's outlined in the core knowledge sequence. And these books are actually intended as companion guides for parents to support their children and their learning in the various core knowledge units. So they can be learning at home as much as they're learning in school. The Realms of Gold anthology is for middle school students 6 through 8 and includes all of the shorter literary works that are specified in the core knowledge sequence. These are the poems, the stories, the essays, speeches, and autobiographical excerpts. The text resources, K through 5, include reproducible versions of the stories and poems, nonfiction texts, as well as songs and lyrics and sheet music for music teachers. The art resources, K5, include full color prints for analysis for all of the artworks listed in the visual arts section of the sequence. And the CK Music MP3s offer selections for the musical masterworks that align with those in the sequence. So teachers can actually be playing those in the classroom for students to hear. Grace Abounding, a grade 4 through 8 resource, is an anthology and it's a companion book of African American literature, art, and music that can be used as a supplement to various specific units across the grade levels. Core Classics, grades 4 through 5, are designated as classroom editions of the literary works listed in the core knowledge sequence. These are specific novels that students might be all reading and studying together in class. The core knowledge website also has posted grade level lesson plans created by core knowledge teachers, and this can provide further support for teachers just starting. Other instructional resources you may wish to consider are the Foundation's comprehensive history and science programs. Core knowledge history guides are available for grades 3 through 6 and have student readers, teacher guides, online resources. Core knowledge history guides are, they are available for grades kindergarten through 6. And they are 30 minutes in grade 3 and 45 minutes in grades 4 through 5. And like the history guides, the science units are available grades K through 5, and they have student readers, teacher guides, and online resources. The science guides are informed by the next generation science standards, and they build science knowledge of cumulative and coherent core ideas in life science, physical science, and earth and space sciences, as well as engineering design. So in brief, to implement a core knowledge approach as outlined by the sequence, a school will need a comprehensive math and ELA program, and they'll need to teach history and science topics, and they can use materials such as the core knowledge latest history guides and science guides, or they can prefer, if they prefer, develop their own units using the traditional core knowledge resources. They, in many schools, use a combination of both 2 and 3 for history and science. So they might want to use a little bit of both. So I'm not sure if you have any questions for me at this time, but I can certainly try to answer some. And if there's anything that I cannot answer, I can certainly make note of it, and I can get the answers to the questions back to Dr. Mooring and Mr. Adam Ketz.
Ms. Hamilton, will you be available for the second hearing in January should questions come from the administrative review team?
I can be. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I think that's probably the time that questions will be coming from the district.
Okay. Thank you.
Are there, and I don't want to presuppose there aren't any preliminary questions right now, either to members of the administration. Are there any questions at this time that you have that I didn't want to cut you off?
Mr. Fitzgerald, no, we will let the presentation play out this evening and provide that opportunity in January.
Okay, thank you, Dr. McGarry. Mr. Mooring, do you have more for the presentation this evening?
Yeah, I'm sorry. We are ready.
Leave it back to him.
Oh. All right, thank you, Ms. Hamilton. Make sure I'm not muted. Okay, I'll make sure I'm not muted because I can't see the picture.
All right, I'll take my leave at this point. Thank you.
Okay. All right, yes, we want to get right back on with it. So our Foundations for Learning, our pillar number 2, our extended day program. Our extended day program will start right after school. We'll have a brief, dismissal, and then we'll jump right into it. And we wanted to do extended day. Research demonstrates that mastery for some students can't take place during the regular school day. So we wanted to have that extended day program for students that want to participate in it. Provide supplemental time for academic improvement. Here, students will have the opportunity to go to tutoring, clubs, and so on. Opportunities to participate, like I said, in clubs, scholastic challenges, science and academic competitions. Vision Academy will encourage community volunteers to support these activities along with paid teachers for extended day services. And this is where we're going to really push and partner with our local community members to support these programs that we're going to run for the after school programs. Foundation for Learning, our pillar number 3, foreign language programs. And again, we want these programs to start from kindergarten through 8th grade. Unlike the district, Vision Academy will create a unique environment for languages where every student is attending, is in the process, will have the opportunity to learn a foreign language and acquisition of foreign languages. Some of the benefits of being bilingual. I'm not going to read every bullet point. You guys will have the opportunity to read through this PowerPoint. I just want to point out some of the benefits that we see. some of the larger benefits. Students who learn at least one other language early in life can obtain a better native-like fluency, and this gives them an edge in tomorrow's workforce. I think everyone in this Zoom is an educator, and we know how diverse our school communities are becoming and our country is becoming. And we just feel like having that opportunity to learn that second language will not only just benefit our students in learning the language, but also the opportunity to participate globally in the conversation. Students who learn world languages at an early age will have access to a greater number of career possibilities and develop a deeper understanding of their own and other cultures. And the last one I want to point out, students enjoy a greater overall school performance and increase their ability of other disciplines such as mathematics. And basically, I mean, the research serves, the languages help develop the brain, the same part of the brain that helps develop math skills. And we just want to push that and give students the opportunity to master a language. Foundation of learning pillar number 4 are data-driven instructions. Teacher will use data every day to monitor student learning. So we're going to, of course, use the multiple measures from the PSAAs, classroom quizzes, individual attention will be given to ensure student progress. Use of research-based direct instruction will make sure teachers are teaching well and students are learning. And there's all kinds of information about direct instruction that we'll go over later. And there's also some information in the application in reference to direct instruction. Our fifth pillar is the flipped learning, and this will take place in grades 5. And there's all kinds of examples of what flipped learning is and how flipped learning works. I'm sure, as many of you know, all of us are teaching virtually, and that is kind of what flipped learning is. It's using technology, being able to take that technology home and learn. Students will have the opportunities to review their lectures or their teachers' lessons via online instruction. We will also work with other platforms to deliver instruction virtually as needed. Flipped learning classrooms, again, will be from grades 5 through 8. Just want to point out what's highlighted in this slide. One of the greatest benefits of flipped learning is that overall interaction increases teacher to student and student to student. I mean, we are giving our teachers the opportunity to really just be in the kids' pocket. You know, the kids will have their Chromebooks or whatever device we're going to use and have that opportunity to review that lesson. Parents will have the opportunity to review that lesson, pause, keep moving and learn. Cognitive tools approaches are the focus and more interest of the investment than ever before. Media and technology have many other advantages in terms of reliability, transportability, and increased equity of access. It's no secret that most kids from second grade on have cell phones. We will have technology that they can use. And like, again, it will be a classroom right in their pocket for them to use. Online material already available. We all know about Khan Academy, and our students will have access to that and use that. We'll make that part of our curriculum, not part of our curriculum, but part of our instruction for the aftercare program. There's other programs that we will also use, but Khan Academy is the most well-known. But again, this is all part of the digital and flipped learning process that we'll have for these students. Our pillar 6 is foundations of learning, project-based learning. Again, we believe that having students having an opportunity to kind of showcase and push their work makes for a better learning. The positive effect on student content knowledge and development of skills such as collaboration, critical thinking, and problem solving, as well as increased student motivation and engagement. Projects that demonstrate learning with students eventually lead to projects, leading to projects working independently. Again, here's the opportunity for students to use multiple skills on a project to do. One of the ones I like to use as a teacher is developing a water system. right? When you're making a water system, we give kids kind of an aerial map of a city, and then they have to come up and create a water treatment plant. So they have to actually create the model, but explain each step of how that goes. So in doing that, you're going to use your math skills, you're going to use science, you're going to use English to write the report. So it's just taking everything that they learn and putting it into projects to create an end result. We believe that, again, this prepares students for the 21st century. We know that very few of us work alone. We all work with a team, and it's best to teach those skills at a young age. Smart Labs, STEM programs for learners of all abilities. Again, we're going to use that Smart Labs within our curriculum, and this is aligned to a wide array of national subjects, areas, standards, including the National Common Core as well as PA Common Core academic standards. It's fully integrated learning program for personalized and project-based learning. And again, I don't like to read to people, but we will offer our students the opportunity to have first-rate technology and to use that technology across the curriculum in various subjects and classes. There's technology that could be used, and we will use that to make sure our students are learning. Foundation for Learning, pillar number 7, great teachers and great leaders. All of our staff will receive comprehensive training before the first day of school, our curriculum, our teacher method, and how to use data. Our code of conduct and classroom behavior management, regulation of professional development that is student-centered. And again, we are looking to have our teachers kind of build into our philosophy, buy into our philosophy, our goals. We want to have a code of conduct that is inclusive to all students, meaning that we'll open with a code of conduct, but then we'll allow students the opportunity to participate in making the rules, not so much rules, but the norms of a school. What's expected when you walk into the door, when you walk into a classroom. And what we mean by norms is when you walk into your home, you automatically take your coat off and you hang it up. Right? It's not a rule, it's just something that you do. It's an expected behavior. And that's our code of conduct will be kind of expectations of behaviors. And what we found is when you let students be involved and create some of those rules, they tend to buy into them better. So that's something that we really want to push and support our students to do. Foundations for Learning, number 6. Number 8, parents as real partners. Parents represent, there will be parent representation on our board, parent action teams to address school issues, parent safety teams to ensure safety is our first, is a priority. Curriculum nights where parents will see their children's learning come alive. Monthly check-ins with teachers, minimum, and we'll join a national network of parent partner schools. But again, our idea is to have our school as part of our community and the community part of our school. And to talk about our parent and partners program, I'm going to introduce Ms. Brenda Thomas. She's a senior, she is also one of our consultants. She's a senior program facilitator at the National Network for Parent Partnerships at Johns Hopkins University. She provides professional development workshops for schools, districts, states, and organizations. Leaders, she is a leader in NNPS. She's co-author of Schools, Families, Community Partnerships, Your Handbook for Action, 3rd and 4th editions, and co-editor of Promising Partnership Practices and the NNPS Annual Collection of Members' Best Practices. And I'm going to stop presenting and allow Ms. Thomas to take over and present. Ms. Thomas, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. I'm going to stop sharing and let you take over, and I'm going to mute myself.
Okay, thank you. I think I forgot to share the screen first. Let me go back. Okay, can everyone see? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good evening. It's a pleasure being here with you. You have another consultant who hails from Memphis, Tennessee, like your core knowledge person. So I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, but grew up here in Baltimore, Maryland. So yeah, Tennessee is in the house for you guys tonight. So with no further ado, we're going to move right on into what I do at the National Network of Partnership Schools. We bring you greetings from Dr. Joyce Epstein, who is the guru behind family and community engagement. And I always tell everybody I worked with Joyce when she only had 5 types of involvement. So I've been on board with her since I was a classroom teacher. And so we've gone through the ranks in this work so we can really, really help you all do this work and do it well. I think I need to not hide my camera. So can you all, now you can see me. Okay, sorry. Okay, the research that we work on is based on helping boys and girls to do their best academically, utilizing the support of not only the school, but we definitely need the home. So what our research has taught us is that if students have involved parents, they do the best that they can do. They have the support that they need to be able to do the work and to do well in school. We also learned that when programs of partnerships are planned purposefully around academics, around achievement, and improving behavior and improving attendance. And I was glad to hear that you all are going to make behavior, that code of conduct, a part of what they do, which is a great thing. I like that. So even if you wanted to work on that, you can certainly build programs of partnership around that so that the boys and girls are successful. And we learned that when partnership programs are linked to school improvement goals, it's not an extra thing, it's not extra work, it's not, oh, by the way, we got to do this. No, when it's linked to the work that we have to do anyway, we know we're going to be successful. So what is the model that we use? We say that everyone wants excellent and successful schools and students, but the question is, how will we reach these goals? Our theoretical model of the overlapping spheres of influence shows how we do this work, and we involve all stakeholders in the work. We say that excellent schools in partnership with strong families in collaboration with healthy communities will build those excellent and successful schools with students in them that are also excellent and successful. And if you look at the diagram, you notice that the child is in the center of the diagram because the work we do is all about the children. We know that we have to work together for them to get ultimate success. We learned that the strong families working by themselves is not going to get it. That the schools working alone saying, we can do this, we're the educators, we know what to do, that's not going to work. And if the community is out there working on their own, that's not going to work either, because that child touches every last one of those spheres of influence, the school, the family, the community. Well, so we found that we have to bring them back together, that we must have strong families working with healthy communities, but also working with excellent schools. And that places the child right in the middle where our focus is, our area of focus is right there on the child. So what is important to know about school, family, and community partnerships? Not only that partnerships are important, everyone knows they're important, and everything that you shared tonight in the presentation, there's an emphasis for family and community engagement. It's right there. We're just filtering through the entire program. So, but we also learned that what is needed for an excellent program of partnerships. So we can have family engagement, little silos of things going on, but are they excellent? Are they doing what we need them to do? That becomes the question. So that's why we want to help you from the network on how to organize high quality and effective programs, not just to have a silo of a program here and an activity going on there, but we want to organize those programs of partnerships such that they are impacting academic success for every boy and girl in our school. But how do I customize my program to engage all families with diverse backgrounds? And from what I'm hearing with your school, you definitely will have diverse families in your school, and you definitely want to include them all. You definitely want to reach them all and engage them all. So that becomes important. How do we begin to do that? That's what we at the National Network of Partnership Schools can help you to do. But we have to remember, I can't do it the old way. I can't just have a parent, organized parent group or PTA and think that I have family engagement going on in my school. I can't have a couple of volunteers here and there and think that I have good family engagement going on in my school. So we must think in new ways about leadership for partnerships. So what are the primary components of the NNPS model? We say that if you use the framework of 6 types of involvement, if you have an action team for partnerships to do the work, and if you have a 1-year action plan for partnerships that outlines the work, and if you evaluate the quality and progress of your program from year to year and continuously improve that work, you will be just fine. So we say using the framework of 6 types of involvement and solving challenges to engage all families. When we look at the 6 types of involvement, you say, oh, okay, is that the kind of involvement we have? Oh, okay, we have that. But with every type of involvement comes challenges, as you know. We also help you to work around the challenges so that they're no longer challenges. We help you to build your program of partnerships that already takes care of challenges that you may have. So what are the 6 types of involvement? Type 1, parenting, basic obligations that families need to get their children to school. If they don't get them there, we can't teach them. This might deal with understanding child development and educating, knowing the families that they serve. And then we look at communicating, 2-way connections about school programs and children's progress, not just the 1-way communication that used to go home where the school was constantly sending notices home, sending information home, but not actively listening to the parents to see what they needed or what kind of support they could help or give to the school. So it's 2-way communication. So the flow is going out, but it's also coming back in. Volunteering. We're pretty good with volunteering because everyone has volunteers at their schools. But we're saying that volunteering goes beyond just having them at the school. I might have them in the classroom. I might have some volunteers doing something at home. And when they come to our school programs and activities that we have as audiences, they are also volunteering their time. So understanding volunteers and how they support the work that we do. Type 4, learning at home. This is the one that's near and dear to my heart, because if we're talking about impacting academic achievement and success for our boys and girls, we need to look at what's going home for homework and how is it coming back? Is it coming back? Is it things that families can support the learning and not have to teach any content? We know that the teacher's job is to teach the content, and the parent's job is to make sure that the children are learning what's being taught, but they're practicing it at home. So connections on homework, school course choices for the school, and any other talents, all of that can fit with learning at home. And type 5, decision making. You're a charter school and you already have parents on your board, which is an excellent thing to do. But you're probably also going to have an organized parent group. It could be a PTA, it could be a PTO, whichever you all decide. You might even have an advisory committee or someone else that's going to be working with the school so that the parent's voice is heard. And it's not the same parent hearing the voice, you're hearing that same parent's voice, but that parent is able to, or parents are able to reach out to other parents to bring their ideas and suggestions into the fold. So all major groups represented on school committees work under our decision-making key. And last but certainly not least is collaborating with the community. So we're getting resources and activities from many groups, agencies, from the community and for the community, because not only are we taking things from the community, but we're giving back to the community. So we're working this whole piece in partnership. So parenting, communicating, volunteering, learning at home, decision-making, and collaborating with the community are the 6 types of involvement. And as I said, they all come with challenges, but we work out the kinks for the challenges so they are no longer challenges when it's time for us to implement our program of partnerships. So there are results for student success when you do this work in an organized and thoughtful way. Our 6 types of engagement can be designed and implemented to contribute to specific school improvement goals. We'll look at that whole piece of the benefits of the results. What will well-designed and well-implemented family and community involvement activities do? Okay, for students, higher grades and test scores. Everyone wants their children to have great test scores and good grades in school. So all of these ways, we're going to be intentional about making sure it happens by the way we plan the activities that we're doing. So I can't have better attendance if I'm not reaching out to make sure that I'm letting parents know what the rules are for attendance, what the law says about attendance for students in school. If they don't know that, they may not send their child to school as regularly as they ought. And if they don't send them, we can't teach them. So these are ways that we're going to work with schools and parents to help them to improve these areas, maybe better social skills or adjustment to school, especially when they're transitioning from one school to the next school. So we're looking at increased enrollment in more challenging academic programs and graduation on time. All of those are good things that can happen for the students, but just like there are results for students, guess what? There are also results for parents. When you look at what we have for results for parents, that stronger sense of support from the school, and not only the school, but other parents, because they're talking to each other, they're meeting, and they're being able to work together in partnership with the school. More awareness of student progress and effective responses to problems. So appreciation of the teacher's work. And I know during this pandemic, every parent appreciates a teacher because we're in a whole new situation now. So, and they were not looking for that, and neither were the teachers. So I was reaching out to school districts across the country as I was talking to them when the pandemic hit. I said, I know you're going to have 100% parent-teacher conferences now because you have their attention and they have your attention. So you're going to be able to reach out and talk to each other and build those partnerships that you always should have had before the pandemic hit. So when you look at this, more effective ways for parents to work with schools, with their children, and parents are going to see firsthand where their children need extra support. So just like there are results for students and results for parents, guess what? There are results for teachers as well. When you look at what's going on, once you develop programs of partnerships, the connection between the home and the school is stronger because there's increased respect for family strengths and efforts. So when I have to keep my little Johnny all day long after I was used to him being gone for so many hours and then coming back to me, I got a new appreciation for the time he was away from me. Or maybe I learned more things about my child and I was glad to have them here home. We know every parent was glad to have their child. We're not saying that, but I'm just being, a little facetious here. But that is time where everyone is learning something more about each other. Parents are learning more about their children. Children are learning more about their parents. Teachers are learning more about the children. Teachers are learning more about the parents. There is a way that this pandemic has brought out a whole new value in education in each person. So when I look at teachers' efforts, greater readiness to involve all families in new ways. There was no child to take little notes home or to take messages home because of the pandemic. So I had to figure out as a teacher a new way of reaching out to our families. So when you start doing these things, this pandemic pretty much helped us a lot with family engagement, as, even though we were not excited about it coming along like it did. Increased satisfaction with teaching. Teachers can see how much more they are doing. They're really involved and engaged in the work that they're doing, because now I have family engagement with a purpose. I'm not just doing family engagement for the sake of engaging, or just saying we have to have parent involvement, or we have Title I dollars and we have to spend it. No, that's not the case. The case is that I'm purposefully planning for my students to be successful in my class, because I'm doing all that I can do. The parents are doing all they can do, and so that our children can do all they can do, and we're working together. So how do we look? What does that planning look like? We have what is called a one-year action plan for partnerships, and we have action in the title because we want them to do something. If I want to get results, I have to do something to get those results. So that plan is not just a plan of family engagement activities, but it's linked to specific goals in our school improvement plan. The school improvement plan drives the work that a school does. That action plan for partnerships says how family and community engagement will support the goals within that plan. So I'm not doing extra work, I'm doing the work. So when I look at it, the school improvement team is the big team in the school. They drive everything, the global for the school. But a subset of that school improvement team is the action team for partnerships, and they have tunnel vision, because their vision is saying, how is family and community engagement going to support the school improvement goals that we've selected to work on this year? So, and it becomes not an extra plan or an additional plan, it's an addendum. It can be in the appendix of the school improvement plan, because what it's doing is pulling out the goals that's going to support where family and community engagement is going to support. So you'll already be able to pick that plan up without going through the whole plan to see where family and community engagement is going to fit within the plan. In that plan, it's a 4-page plan. On the day of the training, the schools will write a 4-page plan. That 4-page plan is going to be a goal. One is going to be an academic goal. Maybe we need to do more work in reading or language arts, or maybe we need to work on math or science, whichever. But we give you 2 goals, 2 academic goals that you want to work on. You decide based on your data. What did your data say when you looked at your test scores? Did the children fare well in science? Did they fare well in history? Maybe we need to give them another little boost there. And what the research is telling us, when families are engaged, academic achievement is on the rise. So that's why you want to plan family engagement in that piece of the school improvement plan. The third goal is a non-academic goal, which is page 3 of the plan. So that might be transitioning from one school to the next. It may be student behavior, overall student behavior. It may be attendance. It could be post-secondary planning, getting the children ready to start thinking college and careers. It could be any of those things in that area. You select based on your data. And the last part of the plan is just a general climate of partnership. Is your school family friendly? Are your families school friendly? I like to say we like family friendly schools with school friendly families. So that, because you have to be that way, because you've got to work it together. So on page 1 of the plan might be a family reading night. And we might have some weekly interactive homework in reading and writing. Maybe we're going to have parent community volunteer book buddies and book talks. And that's going to support our reading goals. For math, you might have, which is page 2, you might have another family night, but this time instead of around reading, it's going to be around math. You're changing the content. The after-school math tutoring by college students could be a part of that program, as well as the PTA having fundraisers for computers, math software, or services, or whatever things you need to support those math goals in the activities you say you want to have. Page 3 Increase student attendance. Parent volunteers to make calls or emails about absences. Maybe attendance and lateness policies on school websites or the parent portal or any other communication. Or maybe you're going to have a family dinner with the principal for improved attendance. So those are things that you could possibly do. You all will decide. And then strengthen the climate of partnership. So you might look at your parent portal and see that families, it's not family friendly. Maybe you're going to do some things to tweak it so that it is family friendly, or to help families understand how to use it in its purpose. Welcome on walks through the neighborhoods. Teachers ought to know, excuse me, about the families that and the students that they serve. So you ought to know that what the neighborhoods look like and what's available to them or what's not available to them. Family school picnic before school starts in the fall to kick the year off so everyone is on the same page. Excuse me. So when I look at the 6 types of involvement, what could it look like if I was working on math? Each of the 6 types would be an activity that you could do. A type 1, parenting. Workshops for parents to explain what the new math standards are in the test and to demonstrate and discuss how math skills are taught to the students. Now, excuse me, when you look at all 6 of these, you would not do all 6 of these at the same time. You would pick out and select which ones you would want to do. Maybe we'll do one for math. But what we do say to schools is that all 6 types should be seen across the 4 pages of the plan. So I might, for math, and I always say to schools, I always say to schools, if you're going to do an academic goal, make sure you have something for type 4 learning at home. You need to have that. That's the weekly interactive homework assignments for students to demonstrate mastery of a math skill for the family partners. And parents have a part in that as well. It doesn't require them to teach, but it requires them to do something with their child in support of that skill that the teacher is teaching. But there are many other types of involvement ideas in our Promising Partnership Practices book. Excuse me. Action team structure. So who are the members of the action team for partnerships? We say at least 2 to 3 teachers or more, 2 or 3 parents or family members or more, and definitely the principal or the assistant principal. They must be on the team, and any other members who work with families, the nurse, the counselor. If there's a parent liaison or a community partner, they are on the team. And if we're at the high school, 1 to 2 students. Excuse me. In our handbook, there's a whole chapter about the team that will help you to understand what the team should look like and what kinds of skills do the team need to bring. Is there help for teams to work well together? Those kinds of things. Here we have the Tremont Montessori Preschool team from Cleveland, Ohio. They're an award winner. And so is Hawthorne Elementary School in Seattle, Washington. That's their team. So the team can be any size, but at least it must have these key people on the team, okay? So what are our benefits and services and resources that we offer to our members? There is a handbook for action and our annual book of Promising Partnership Practices. When you join the network, you automatically get a handbook in the current Promising Partnership Practices book. We have monthly e-briefs and periodic blogs, on-call technical assistance by phone and email and the website so that you will know what's going on within the network. I'm there for technical assistance and, excuse me, and we have a network coordinator, Rachel Chappelle. She connects with you all when it's time to join the network, any type of webinars or things that you're participating in and you need to register for them. That's what she's going to do. And she manages our social media section in the website. So, and then there's assistance each year to evaluate program quality and progress. We have what is known as an update survey and related reports. And what that update survey does is to help you to understand how well did you perform as far as family community engagement is concerned. Did you work as a team? Did you have a plan of action that you worked on and actually implemented with fidelity? Did you have all of your team members working? Did you evaluate your work at the end of each activity? Did you evaluate each activity so that you could know what the successes were or what you may have needed to do to improve upon it? There's a whole chapter in the handbook, chapter 9, is talking about the evaluations, okay? And coordinated planning and evaluation tools. If you're Title I school, we help you work with your Title I requirements for ESSA, Section 1116. We help you to do all of that. Networking opportunities to share best practices with other schools, districts, states, and organizations in NNPS. These are our publications. The first one you see is our handbook. Then we have the Principal Matters book that helps you to understand the principal's role in family community engagement. Multicultural partnerships, how do we engage diverse families? Then there's a family reading night. That book helps you to look at activities that you can have to support and enhance what you're doing in reading. And then, of course, this is Dr. Epstein's new textbook. This is the second edition, and the third edition is getting ready to come out soon. We also have the Promising Partnership Practices. This is the first one that we had, the 2020 edition. These are all, it has a lot of pandemic or COVID-19 activities that schools were doing during COVID-19. How did they still engage families and get the job done? So that one is online. So you can get that one online if you're a member. And then we have our samplers, where we look and we put the research behind each of the content areas so you can understand what did the research say about science. Okay, so based on that, where are some samplers that could certainly help us to reach those what the research said about science or even behavior, college and careers, whichever. And then we have tips, interactive homework. When COVID hit, every member of NNPS received the tips CD for free. They were able to use those interactive homework in ways, because the first thing everyone was doing was sending homework packets home. But was it homework that was involving and engaging families by design? So that's why we put it out there for all of our members to have that at their fingertips to use. It's not the regular way that TIPS is used, but it is a good way to get families engaged in the situation we found ourselves in. And some of the school districts did pick up on that and they did use it. So what are the basics for each school for an excellent program of partnerships? Establish that action team, or we call it an ATP for short. Write an action plan for partnerships each year linked to school improvement goals. And when you all join, we will certainly do that. We can do that training for you all. Use the framework of 6 types of involvement so parents can become involved in various ways. Allocate a budget for planned activities. How are you going to pay for this? If you have Title I dollars, part of the Title I dollars have to be spent for family engagement. So we'll help you align that budget with the activities that you have in your plan. Allocate time for monthly meetings of the ATP. So you have the action team, but they need to have time to meet and discuss the activities that are coming up, the goals and objectives that you said you want to work on in the plan. So you want to make sure that it's there and they can do that. And last but not least, evaluate the partnership program each year. And I'm here, that technical assistant is, I'm an email or a phone call away when you need support and help with doing this work and doing it well. So for more information, this is our contact information. Dr. Joyce Epstein is our director. Dr. Stephen Sheldon is our associate director. I am the senior facilitator, and Rachel Chappelle is our NNPS coordinator. And of course, like you said, we are at Johns Hopkins University here in Baltimore, and that's our website. That's our email address if you want to email us for anything, nnps@jhu.edu. So with no further ado, I think that completes the presentation. And I don't think we had a question and answers period, but if you do have questions, I could certainly answer them.
Ms. Thomas, I just want to clarify, you're not affiliated with this application, correct?
No, I'm a consultant. We serve as a consultant.
Well,
to help them to do their family engagement piece.
Okay, and are you an active consultant for this application, or are you effectively pitching services for a potential future charter school if it were to be established?
They would need to join the network. If they join NNPS, we can and if they say they want to use the model, then they would join, and then we would do the training and let them go for it.
And you have not seen the application by the charter
No.
school? No. Okay. All right. I will confirm with the district as to whether there's a desire for follow-up information from you at the subsequent hearing. But Mr. Mooring, I believe I will ask you to continue, and I would ask that you do clarify the relationship these individuals have to your application.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, she'll be one of our consultants. We'll be joining the network upon approval.
Sir, I mean, with all due respect, the board is sitting here and spent a half hour on a presentation that frankly is not yet affiliated with your application. And the purpose of this hearing tonight is your application for your proposed school. It is not independent consultants that have not been retained by your application or school.
Sir, to be clear, we do have this group in the application budget.
Well, that might be, but
No, I'm muted.
And our application does commit that we are going to.
I'm not getting any of that.
Where's the?
I didn't get that, attorney.
Sorry. So what I was saying was our application also commits to us joining this network when the application for the charter is approved. And so the information related to this program is relevant to our application. I object to council's characterization of the information, and we'll just have that noted for the record.
So noted. Mr. Moran, you may continue.
You're muted.
All right, sorry about that. Core knowledge in action. I'm going to go through the next few slides kind of quickly. Just these are some examples of core knowledge where we've seen them work and where they're working well, the implementation of core knowledge. I want to just say thank you, Ms. Thomas, for taking the time to join us in this meeting. Core knowledge, we've seen it in Newark Charter School in Newark, Delaware, which is one of the highest achieving schools in that state. Hawthorne Elementary in San Antonio, Texas. Again, similar demographics to this area, but they're one of the highest achieving schools in their district. And then right here in Delaware County at Vision Academy Charter School, the William Penn, we have numbers that are superseding William Penn, Southeast Delco, and Upper Darby schools. And all these are examples of core knowledge in action. Again, you can see the percentage of students achieving in proficiency in math is 84%. That's at Newark Charter in Delaware, which is like an almost unheard of number. The percentage of students achieving proficient in reading and language arts is at 87%. again, that is using that curriculum, the core knowledge supplements in the curriculum. Core knowledge at Vision Academy right here in William Penn. We've implemented it here, and it's being implemented with fidelity. And we see the benefits of core knowledge in our curriculum with our students. Vision Academy Charter School performs the highest in PSA proficiencies in all tested subjects among schools in Southeast Delco, William Penn, and Upper Darby. Upper Darby and charter schools in Delaware County go to the PSSAs in 2019. Vision Academy Charter is the only charter school that exceeds growth and improvement strategies set by PDEs among their feeder schools in Delaware County. So what does all that mean? That means we're doing well at Vision Academy. We want to, like I said, take some of those same elements from Vision Academy and put them into Vision Academy School of Innovation. We see here the Act 82 building level, formerly known as the school performance profile, where you see Vision Academy Charter versus Upper Darby schools. We're right up there at the top. We're exceeding what's going on at Upper Darby schools, and we feel like this is not an accident. This is done intentional with our staff, and we're not where we want to be, but we're getting close to that mark. The Act 82 building level scores, formerly the school performance profile, Vision Academy Charter School versus Southeast Delco. Again, we're outperforming the schools in Southeast Delco. And again, if we even look at William Penn, we're outperforming the schools in the William Penn School District. And again, these performances that you're seeing, these aren't accidents. This was a mistake. We are implementing core knowledge, direct instruction, parents as partners, and we see the results in our academics of our students. And again, with charter schools in Delaware County, we by far surpassed those schools. It's something that we're really proud of. And again, I believe that, given the opportunity to be in Upper Darby School District, you will see similar results with our charter. Again, this is just a quick graph of Hawthorne Elementary in San Antonio, Texas, where they're implementing the core knowledge. You see the spike in their scores versus the district. Again, I don't think this is by accident. It's with the implementation of core knowledge. So community support. We just didn't wake up and decide to do this. We did solicit community, we listen to community members. We have forums where community members could talk about what they were looking for in a school, and that kind of gave us some direction to go. We acquired 1,080 signatures from residents of Upper Darby School District in the Upper Darby School District on the petition to support the approval of a charter school. There are 339 pre-enrolled for grades K through 8, starting for the 21-22 school year. There will be more pre-enrollments and letters of support. We'll show at the next hearing. Community Advisory Board consisting of residents of Upper Darby. 7 founding board members live in the Upper Darby School District that want the charter school and will help us as far as governance as being on the board and parent involvement committees. Our budget. We have been working with Mr. Wiseman, a CPA and founder of Charter Choices. Michael has been serving charter schools since the inception in PA in 1997. He has founded Charter School Services firm in 2004 and has been a leader in supporting charter communities for more than 20 years. Michael has built a relationship since managing local school audit practices of large public accounting firm, and now Charter Choices is proud to serve more than 50 charter schools, both brick and mortar as well as cyber charters. As a client, Michael has dedicated his career to the charter schools and is viewed as an expert in charter schools finance and is often called to testify or engage in shaping activities with key stakeholders in PA legislation and statewide coalition. He will also be a consultant with us as we move forward with our charter school. And at this point, I'm going to turn the screen over to to Mr. Wiseman and let him do the presentation on the financials.
Great, and I'll use, and I appreciate that introduction. It is my pleasure to follow up those great academic results that you just presented. Doctor, you're going to keep the presentation on the screen, correct? Great. So I'll go through this at a very high level, but you'll see here on this page, the school has presented a 5-year budget, which shows at the bottom a positive fund balance for each of the fiscal years. The revenue assumptions at the top there, we're using per pupil funding based off of the current year district funding rates. Those rates were pulled from the Department of Education in November of this year. I had the opportunity to look earlier today, and they continue to be the current year rates. So we use those rates. And I think from the expenditure side, it's important, as mentioned earlier, Charter Choices does represent over 50 charter schools. So the expenditure assumptions, we used information from those clients. On the out years, we used historical information that we've seen since 2004. So we have some assumptions in this current year and 5-year model that we'll be happy to answer questions, I guess in January. But I think the takeaway here is there's certainly some experience with Charter Choices in this administration for running a good academic school, but also financially viable entity, which you'll see at the fund balance. So I'll go over to the next page. Great. So you'll see here, as mentioned earlier, we are planning to start the first year with 200 students, and that will grow to 360 students by the fiscal year 2026. In the first year, we start K through 4, and we grow to a K through 8 school. At the bottom there, you'll see that we've assumed a 17% special ed rate. And although we know that those rates are different across the Commonwealth, we found 17 to be a good average for these budget presentations. I'll go over to the next page. So I won't spend a whole lot of time on this, but certainly I'm sure we'll address this in the January hearing with questions. But you'll see that the first column apparently did not have enough space, but that is the 2022. And we've identified specific positions that we're looking to hire in that first year. And then the following 4-year, along with cost to the far right, these dollars all flow over to the expense page of the budget, which then go over to the revenue and expenses with the fund balance page that was presented 2 slides earlier. Again, I think the takeaway here is there's a lot of history behind the team that has put together the school, that has put together this budget. And we look forward to having conversations and answer questions at the next meeting. But from a high level, the takeaway here is this plan is a good one. It has history behind it, and it will be implemented the way it's budgeted here. Is there a next page?
That was it for the presentation on the finances and budgeting. At this point, we're going to go to the next slide and talk about facilities, and I'll let Mr. Lionhauser present on that.
You're muted.
Sorry. My name is Brian Linehauser. I'm an attorney. I work at the law firm McMain, Connell and Linehauser, where I am an equity partner. In accordance with the requirements of the charter school law, we have provided to you the proposed parameters for rental of the space at 4 Rockburn Road in Clifton Heights, Pennsylvania, with the basic outline of the facility. I know that your team had an opportunity to visit the facility that we propose for this charter school. The initial square footage proposed for the school is 40,000 square feet, which more than meets the state requirements for student capacity for the proposed size of the school. Of course, we are looking forward to discussing your review of the facility, the proposed rates for rental of the facility, and its preparation for the charter school in advance of our opening, which is planned for fall of 2021. Aside from the proposal that the space be prepared for us by the landlord in advance of our occupancy, the proposal and the letter of commitment from the landlord also outlines that improvements for the school are the landlord's responsibility, and that he would provide the building to us in a condition that is with a viable certificate of occupancy for use as a school. Other than that, I don't have any additional information on the facility. The drawings that are provided here are also included in the application that we've provided, and I look forward to discussing this and the content of the application at our meeting in January.
Thank you, Mr. Linehauser. So we are done our formal presentation. I don't know if you guys had questions or you want to wait until the 26th and do a question and answer then. But I did want to take this time to thank the Upper Darby School District for taking time and setting up a special meeting. Thank you especially to the board members who took time out of their day to sit and have a meeting on a cold December evening. So we wanted to thank you for that. We believe that our application is strong. We look forward to a question and answer with you guys at that time. If you have any short questions you'd like to go over now, we're more than willing to take those questions.
Thank you. I think we will reserve questions and answers to the next meeting in January based on how the agenda has been presented this evening, Mr. Maureen. At this time is what is our public comment section to the board meeting. So I will ask whether it's the board secretary or whomever in this pandemic world we live in, how we're going to make note for the record of the public comment that has been submitted for this hearing this evening.
Mr. Fitzgerald, my name is Aranda Buford. I am the Director of Communications. I will read the public comments.
Thank you very much.
Our first comment is from Sahida Mayfield, located at 249 Lacara Drive in Lansdowne, PA. The comment was received on the 8th at 5:29 p.m. via email. The comment begins, I would like to speak at the board meeting in reference to Vision Academy. I am a resident and 2 of my children attend Upper Darby schools. I am also a former teacher from Vision Academy, and I want to express why I do not want them to open another one of their schools in Upper Darby School District. End of comment.
Can you spell the name, please, for me?
Yes. S-A-A-H-I-D as in dog, A-A, Mayfield, M as in Mary, A-Y-F as in Frank, I-E-L-D as in dog.
Thank you.
The next comment is from Ms. Maureen Key. Maureen Key, K-E-E.
Thank you.
Located at 817 Mason Avenue in Drexel Hill. Comment was received on the 8th at 6:08 p.m. via email. The comment reads, We were just through this and the charter school was voted down. I find it curious that we are addressing this again. We should be taking care of the schools we have. I looked on their website and there are no credentials for the members. You should be listing these people and share a resume of each. The last time we went through this process, it was a waste of time. The people from the school were not even involved in education. I attended all the meetings the last time. The people in charge at the first meeting were different from the people in charge the second meeting. Our taxes in Upper Darby are high enough. I feel this is being rushed through. You should not be having this as a Zoom meeting. This should wait until you can have a meeting where people can physically attend and voice their views. The children are not even back in the classroom yet. I feel they are rushing this through under the radar. Having the meeting the week of Christmas, I feel they're hoping people will not show up to oppose. End of comment. The next comment is from Lenice, L-E-N as in Nancy, I-S-E, I-S as in Sam, excuse me, E, Lockley. L-O-C-K-L-E-Y, located at 50 West Berkeley Avenue in Clifton Heights. The comment was received on the 8th at 7:16 p.m. via email. The comment reads, Upper Darby should not accept yet another application from the same people for a charter school. Charter schools take money away from normally funded, public funded schools. There is no reason why a school that was serve fewer than 100 students should gain access to taxpayer funding and resources that would be better served in our current schools. Please deny this application. End of comment.
Mr. Fitzgerald, can I ask a question? I don't think I am.
Yes, Mr. Lionheiser.
Thank you. I assume that copies of the originals of these emails would be made available to attach or be a part of the record as well?
Ms. Buford, how, I presume that we are taking public comment as we have since the pandemic has begun. How does the district, what is the procedure with regard to attaching to a meeting minutes, the emails? Is that typically how it is accomplished?
So we have established a special email account just for the charter school application public comments. That email account is chartercomments@upperdarbysd.org. We use a Google Doc to compile them for ease of reading during the board meetings, but we can certainly make each email accessible via copy PDF.
I think that would be a good idea. This is somewhat different than just a regular board meeting. This is somewhat evidentiary, and I suspect Mr. Lionheiser, while he has no reason to believe what you're saying is incorrect, he'd just like to simply have copies to support what is being put in the record.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
The next comment is from Robert Gallup, located at 7813 Arlington Avenue in Upper Darby. Robert Gallup, G-A-L-L-O-P.
Thank you.
The comment was received on the 14th at 11:45 a.m. via email. Comment begins. My name is Robert Gallup, and I have been a teacher with the Upper Darby School District for 17 years. I am emailing to voice my objection to the most recent charter school application that is being considered by the district, Vision Academy Charter School. Charter schools do little more than drain the resources of the host district in an effort to turn a profit on the education of our children. The model is simple. Bill the host district to educate a child for X, quote unquote, and spend less than that on their education. These cuts are almost exclusively made by paying underqualified teachers at a rate lower than UDSD and surrounding districts. Most of these staff members are young, looking for nothing more than a year or two of experience before they apply for an opening at a quote unquote real school. I have reviewed the application and have come to one simple conclusion. Vision Charter is not offering anything innovative or new to our students. Why pay a charter school for services that UD is, italicized, already offering to our students? Vote no. Thank you. End of comment. The next comment is from Brian and Joanna Mulholland, located at 5028 Durham Road in Drexel Hill. Mulholland, M as in Mary, U-L-H-O-L-L-A N as in Nancy, D as in dog. The comment was received on the 21st at 8:43 a.m. via email. The comment reads, "We are writing in opposition to the proposed Vision Academy Charter School of Innovation. Combined, my husband and I have 68 years in public education, and we have been residents of the township for over 20 years. Our children attend the Upper Darby School District. I attended the Upper Darby School District, and currently I'm employed as an instructional coach by the district. This charter school proposal would harm the Upper Darby School District community. The proposal's financial impact on the district would devastate an already financially stressed district. The district will be required to contribute $10,182 per regular education student and $30,313.86 per student with special needs. Based on the pre-enrollment information, the district will be required to contribute approximately $1,607,827.44 in year one, and an approximate total of over $8 million after 5 years, and not factoring in the required increase of contribution by the state, increase in enrollment, or an increase for any students requiring any special education services. In addition, the 146 pre-enrollment students would require transportation to the school. This would be an additional cost to the district. The charter school impact could cost the taxpayer a potential 2.2% increase in the current school tax bill. This is not affordable to our community. The Vision Academy Charter School of Innovation proposal is not fiscally viable. The plan does not contain any identifiable strategies for meeting budget and cash flow challenges. There will be no savings in our current Upper Darby School District budget. This would likely lead to changes in services and/or cuts in our current programming in Upper Darby School District. With the proposed opening in September of 2021, the staffing and professional development section of the proposal is concerning. In the staffing section of the charter school proposal, the director of instruction requires only 3 years of teaching experience. So this director of instruction potentially would have just obtained their level 2 certification by the state. I am not confident in the proposal that there is commitment to ensure all teachers are certified in education. Excuse me. At one point in the proposal, it states temporary or emergency certifications of teachers. As we read through the proposal, there is a lot of educational jargon, but a vague plan when it comes to professional development, including the induction plan for the new inexperienced teachers they are planning to hire based on the proposal. The proposal mentions a partnership with a university as part of the professional development. Which university is the charter partnering with for the 2021-2022 school year? If this charter is proposing to open in September of 2021, the university should be named. As stated previously, we are opposed to the Vision Academy Charter School of Innovation to become a charter school in Upper Darby School District. End of comment. The next comment is from Jean Halloran. Jean with a G. And Halloran, Halloran as in Nancy. Mr. Halloran lives at 7214 Penarth Avenue in Upper Darby. The comment was received on the 21st at 7:47 p.m. via email. The comment reads, "Dear UD School Board members, please reject the new application for Vision Academy Charter Schools in Upper Darby. This charter school will drain money and resources from our district and take tax dollars from Upper Darby taxpayers. We received misleading advertising information at our doorsteps recently from this Vision Academy Charter School. Their glossy ad made unsubstantiated claims about the performance and achievements of their students. Very misleading advertising. In fact, ratings and reviews for Vision Academy School in Lansdowne are not impressive at all. Why am I opposed to charter schools? Number one, charter schools take money from our already underfunded public schools. Number two, they can expel students and send them back to public schools, neglecting the responsibility to educate all children. Number three, they are unfairly exempt from many state and local regulations, while public schools must comply with the letter of the law. Number four, they do not have to educate special needs students. Number five, They mislead parents into thinking they are better performing than public schools when in fact they are not. Charter schools are certainly in the news, not for high scores, not for high achievement, but for highly unscrupulous financial dealings, fraudulent use of taxpayer money, and lack of oversight and transparency. If you want some interesting reading, Google Gulen Charter School Scandal. Vision Academies is owned by or associated with the Gulen organization, spelled Gulen as in Nancy, which has been under investigation by the FBI and others, according to numerous articles in the Washington Post, The Atlantic, 60 Minutes, among others. Check out this link for the everyday irregularities of charter schools. The link is Another Day, Another Charter Scandal, 2-2. I want my tax dollars to fund Upper Darby public schools and not be watered down by charter schools. Thank you. End of comment. The next comment is from Mary Burns, B as in boy, Y, R, N as in Nancy, E, S. Located at 7214 Penarth Avenue in Upper Darby. The comment was received on the 21st at 10:19 p.m. via email. The comment reads, Dear Upper Darby School Board members, my name is Mary Burns, and I have lived at 7214 Penarth Avenue in Upper Darby for 35 years. I am commenting on the Vision Academy Charter School application being presented to you this evening. Let me sound the warning loud and clear, and this is all in caps. Do not even consider this application for 1 minute. This isn't the first time that charter schools have tried to hurt and infringe on the rights of our students or our students of the UDSD. I am sure it won't be the last, but we need our school board to stay united and not allow this threat to take hold in UDSD. Charter schools will hurt our UD public schools as they take even more of our underfunded tax dollars away from our deserving students and use them to funnel money to their owners and their related businesses. Education is, in caps, not their business. Charter schools receive an automatic waiver from most state and school district laws, regulations, and policies. Do not believe they are, caps, non-profit. The name of their game is, caps, profit. Caps, please do not allow the William Penn School District and allow this farce. Let me read that again, excuse me. Please do not follow the William Penn School District and allow this farce in the name of public education. No one is overseeing these charter schools. I hear, quote unquote, school choice echoed in the charter school discussion, but I am urging you to do your homework. Another choice is not necessarily a good choice. The list of serious concerns goes on and on. High rate of teacher turnover, teachers uncertified, corruption, tax dodging, lack of oversight, play by different rules, avoid low-performing students, increased segregation. I implore our school board members to defend and protect the deserving students of UDSD. Do not approve this charter school's application. Thank you so much for your consideration, your time, and efforts on behalf of all of us in the UDSD. Gratefully yours, Mary Burns. End of comment. Our next comment is from Anna Halloran, Halloran as in Nancy, located at 7214 Penarth Avenue in Upper Darby. Comment was received on the 21st at 10:21 p.m. Comment reads, as a product of Upper Darby School District Public Schools, as well as a tax-paying resident of Upper Darby, I'm writing to express my deep concerns about the proposed charter school in Upper Darby and ask that you reject the application. There are many reasons I do not support the Vision Academy Charter School. Charter schools claim to accept all students, but studies have shown that they turn away students with high-cost special needs. all while accepting money that is supposed to go towards those special needs students. Charter schools do not require all teachers to be certified. Due to high teacher turnover, they do not foster the teacher-student relationships that are so crucial to student success. Most importantly, our public schools, which provide an education to CAPS, all students, need to be our first priority. Already inadequately funded, our public schools cannot afford to give up any of their resources to a charter school that is not held to the same standards or responsibilities when it comes to educating the children in our community. I only hope that our school board has the community's best interests at heart when approaching this matter and not the wishes of some of our prominent local politicians. Thank you for your consideration. End of comment. Our next comment is from John Casertano. This comment is on behalf of the Upper Darby Education Association officers. This comment was received on the 22nd at 3:14 p.m. via email. Comment reads, "Good evening, everyone. As educators, parents of public school students, and individuals who have studied the impact charter schools have on students, districts, and communities, we respectfully ask the school board to decline this charter school application. It is painfully apparent that having a charter school siphon the funding and resources from our public schools would have a devastating impact on all of our students, their families, and the community. We have a school population that is unique and diverse, and with it comes unique and challenging needs. These needs can only be met through the decades of experience that our schools have gained, and it is within the walls of our public schools that you will find educators that are exceptionally capable of serving our community best. A corporate approach to education will not enrich the sound education that our school district presently provides. It would only serve to detract. Therefore, it is vital that you do not consider this charter school application. Signed, respectfully, the officers of the Upper Darby Education Association." End of comment. Our next comment is from Colleen Maggette, M as in Mary, A, G as in gone, as in Greg, I, T, T, I.
Thank you.
Okay, the comment, I'm sorry, excuse me. Miss Maggette lives at 128 North Glenwood Avenue in Clifton Heights. Comment was received on the 22nd at 3:37 p.m. via email. The comment reads, "I do not support the charter school in Clifton Heights. To take money from an already underfunded district and funnel it into a new charter school would be detrimental to the students in the Upper Darby School District. I believe in the public school system, and charter schools are never the answer to the achieve education equity that our students deserve." End of comment. Our next comment is from Christopher Culp, K-U-L-P as in Paul, located at 930 Fairfax Road in Drexel Hill. The comment was received on the 22nd at 3:46 p.m. via email. The comment reads, "As I am reviewing the information submitted for the Vision Academy Charter in Clifton Heights, all I can think is, italicized, we just do not need this right now. I don't see anything in this application to convince me that this school is necessary. We already have a wonderful qualified staff to provide excellent programs and resources to our very large and diverse community. What we need is to stay the course and allow our current funds and future tax dollars to stay right here in our district so that the necessary improvements can be made and our children can continue to receive the quality education that they deserve. I do not want to see my students or my own children lose the programs that they love so dearly because of funds that follow students to outside entities." End of comment. Our next comment is from Bonnie Stritzinger. S as in Sam, T as in Tom, R-I, T as in Tom, Z as in Zoo, I-N as in Nancy, G-E-R. Located at 293 West Park Lane in Clifton Heights. The comment was received on the 22nd at 3:57 p.m. via email. The comment reads, "I am a first grade teacher in the UDSD. I take pride in the fact that I work for the most unique and diverse school in Pennsylvania. I received my BS in elementary education from Bloomsburg University and Masters of Education with certification in library science from Arcadia University. The UDSD has taken great effort to employ quality educators who take their work seriously and always have their students' best interests in mind. Quoting directly from our UDSD website, our mission to provide a comprehensive and challenging educational program which encourages all learners in a safe environment to respect others, value education, and appreciate and contribute to their community as confident, independent thinkers. I would also like to mention a few of our SD's belief statements. We believe successful learning experiences build self-esteem. End of comment. Our next comment is from Emily Simmons, Simmons, located at 934 Kenwood Road in Drexel Hill. Comment was received on the 22nd at 4:11 p.m. via email. Comment begins, I am writing out of concern about the charter school application being reviewed at this evening's meeting. My husband and I are both teachers in Upper Darby School District. We have a current first grader at Hillcrest and a child that will begin kindergarten in UD in 2022. We both grew up attending Upper Darby School District schools and, caps, choose to live here. We, caps, choose to have our children attend UDSD schools. We feel that the education we received was excellent and continues to be excellent for our own children and students. We are concerned that a charter school will take valuable funding and resources from the children of Upper Darby School District. After reviewing the charter school application, the curriculum from core knowledge sequence that the charter intends to use is from 2010, over 10 years ago. I am concerned about this. In addition, in looking through the founding members' resumes, I was alarmed to see that one was handwritten and that there were few with experience in the field of education. End of comment. Our next comment is from Greg and Mary Reichard, Reichard, as in Dan, at 606 Foss Avenue in Drexel Hill. The comment was received on the 22nd at 4:24 p.m. via email. The comment reads, as the parents of 4 children in the district, we cannot say enough good things about the education that our children are receiving. The staff in our district has done an amazing job providing a quality education for our children under the most difficult of circumstances. Because of this, we do not believe there should be approval for any charter schools in the district. A charter would take away necessary resources from the students of our school district. In addition, with the economic uncertainty looming over all school districts in regards to state funding, now is not the time to be considering such an unnecessary cost. Also, charter schools do not adhere to the same standards as public schools and oftentimes do not provide a fair and equal application process to students. Please continue to give our staff the resources they need to provide a great education for our children and deny the application for the Vision Academy Charter School of Innovation. Thanks to the board, administrators, teachers, and other staff for the hard work you're doing, and I wish you a safe and happy holiday season. End of comment. Our next comment is from John Young, located at 1122 Winbrook Road in Seacane. The comment was received on the 22nd at 4:29 p.m. via email. The comment reads, my name is John Young. I'm a resident of Upper Darby, a veteran Philadelphia School District teacher of 10 years, and currently a PFT union building representative, and a parent of 2 children in the Upper Darby School District. My oldest daughter is currently in kindergarten at Primus Elementary School, where my wife also teaches. The Upper Darby School Board should reject the charter school application from Vision Academy Charter School of Innovation. From my experience as a public school teacher in Philadelphia, I have witnessed firsthand how charter schools strip critical funding and resources away from public schools. Many of these charter schools spend our taxpayer money on advertising, administrative salaries, unproven academic programs, while also failing to improve student achievement, failing to provide transparency and accountability to the taxpayers about their policies, finances, and results, and failing to provide fair working conditions and benefits to their teachers. Upper Darby, much like the School District of Philadelphia, is already struggling to provide an equitable education to our students due to the state government's purposeful neglect. We do not need a charter school stealing away our already precious few resources and dividing our community. After years of charter school disruption and failures, the School District of Philadelphia has recently soundly rejected new charter school applications and chosen not to renew many others. We should learn the lessons that the School District of Philadelphia took over a decade to learn. Charter schools do not improve education for our children. Charter schools only seek to steal our taxpayer money and profit from our children. Please reject this application. End of comment. Our next comment is from Jim McGroarty, McGroarty, located at 827 Eaton Road in Drexel Hill. The comment was received on the 22nd at 4:36 p.m. via email. The comment reads, I am a resident of Drexel Hill and teacher for the Upper Darby School District. How can you take funding from an already underfunded district and put us at risk of losing student numbers and district jobs? I have worked in charter schools and all they care about is making money instead of providing a real education for kids. End of comment. Our next comment is from Denise Kennedy, who's the Vice President of UDESPA. The comment was received on the 22nd at 4:41 p.m. via email. The comment reads, the Upper Darby School District needs fair and equitable funding, not a charter school. This district's Board of School Directors and its employees work extremely hard to provide a superior education to the students entrusted to us. We have been doing more with less for years and doing a good job at it too. Diverting funds from our schools to support a charter school will only further exacerbate the problems we face and make it harder for us to continue to do the excellent job we are doing. Charter schools are not held to the same standards and we are in either the academic or financial domains. As a taxpayer, our funds should be used to properly educate our community's children, and there should be accountability. Until the laws of Pennsylvania change to hold charter schools equally accountable, we don't feel diverting our tax dollars is a good investment financially or for the future of our children. Our other concern is quality of the education which will be provided. The facility on Rockbourne Road is not an adequate facility for a school. This application is just another attempt at siphoning money from the UDSD to rehab that facility. We have lost count, but we think this is approximately the fourth try to open a charter school at this site. After review of the employee handbook and job descriptors, it was interesting to see that reviews would be done on the anniversary date of employment. There was no discussion of ongoing observations, mentoring, or professional development of staff. Special attention should be made to who is required to have state education certifications. Our children should not be treated as manufactured product directed by a CEO. Our children deserve invested, caring educators who are trained and certified and whose key goal is to provide them a good education, not to make a profit for a corporation. And this is signed Kim McDevitt at 100 South Church Street in Clifton Heights, who is the president of UDESPA, and by Denise Kennedy at 2564 Bond Avenue in Drexel Hill, who is the vice president of UDESPA.
Do we have any additional comments?
We do. I'm sorry, I need to mute for a second, but I'm going to the next comment. Yes.
Oh, okay. No problem.
Okay, we have a second comment from Ms. Sahida Mayfield. Do you need me to spell that again for you?
Please.
S-A-A-H-I-D as in Dan, A-A Mayfield, located at 249 LaCara Drive in Lansdowne, PA. That comment was received on the 22nd at 6:29 p.m. via email. The comment reads, "My name is Sahida Mayfield, and I have been a resident of Upper Darby Township for more than 30 years. I am against Vision Academy opening a school in my community. I was a kindergarten teacher at their Lansdowne location for 2 years. A school is as strong as its leader. A school leader empowers and supports its school. The leadership did none of that. The work environment was toxic, uncomfortable, and extremely unprofessional. As a Black teacher, I did not feel supported, and I felt uncomfortable being asked to pass students who only received a 50% grade. I question if their academic reports are accurate. At the end of the school year, my teacher evaluation was done incorrectly. There was no observation even done. I question how a school leader can be a principal of a school without a valid PA principal certification. The school leader was unprofessional with the female staff members of the school leaders. Let me read that sentence again. The school leader was unprofessional with the female staff members. The school leaders and teachers gossiped about each other all the time. The dean of literacy and the dean of instruction made negative comments about me and other staff members. Even when the school went virtual, so did the curriculum, but the school did not use that curriculum. They just made one up. Other things that bothered me as a teacher were the lack of discipline. The majority of the teacher population is white and the student population is Black. The students did not respect the teachers, and it was very distracting. I expressed to the school leader that I was interested in the administration and began to treat me differently. I thought this was a place where I could grow in my love of being an educator. Last January, I started to pursue my dual certification of curriculum supervisor and principal certification. When I worked at Vision, my scholars for 2 years finished on grade level to first and second grade. I never felt supported as a teacher, and I do not want this type of school in my community because I feel that Vision has failed to address equity and all of the inequality that exists in this school. End of comment. Our final comment is from Nicole Lauria, located at 4103 Vernon Road, and it's Lauria, Lauria. The comment was received on the 22nd at 7:23 p.m. via email. The comment reads, I am a parent of a 4th grader at Garrettford Elementary School and a longtime Upper Darby Township resident of 40+ years. I am, caps, strongly against a charter school addition. My reasons for this are many. The UDSD has not only been a consistent and integral part of our community, it in many ways is our community's pulse. Our school district has stood behind our children, their families, and our entire community for decades strong. Now more than ever during these unprecedented times, we need our district. If a charter school is approved, funding will be taken away from our district. Again, especially during these times, we need further investment in our district as they continue to further invest and support our children, as well as continue to support and strengthen our families and our community. Thank you for your time. End of comment and end of all comments. Mr. Fitzgerald.
Thank you. This brings us to the conclusion of the first hearing this evening. We have a second hearing scheduled for January 26th to begin, and let me confirm the time just to make sure that we are good with that. I have for our start time that evening of 5 o'clock for the second hearing under the circumstances. Mr. Leinhauser, I will be sending to you, likely through PDF, copies of these comments this evening. So you have it for your record, and in all likelihood, once I see it, we'll make it an attachment to the hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Gerald. Will any communications or correspondence between board members that occurred during the meeting, either electronically or otherwise, also be made part of the record?
That was not the intention, because that is not part of this hearing.
In a public hearing, if there are communications between and among board members that are non-privileged, they should be made in the public and part of the record. I would ask that any communications of that nature, email, text, written comments of any kind like that be preserved. If they're not going to be part of the record, I will make a right to know request to have them produced.
I think you will have to make that right to know request. I certainly, I will
Direct
note.
to preserve those communications to the extent there are any, so that they're not lost as part of this record. Okay.
That is understood. We will expect the right to know request, and so note for this hearing that for board members to preserve any communications to the extent there are any under the circumstances. With that understanding, I'm going to turn the meeting back over to Mr. Edward Brown to seek an adjournment of tonight's hearing.
Thank you, Mr. Fitzgerald. The motion is in order for adjournment of the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned. Have a good night and a great holiday, everyone.
Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you all. Thank you all for your time.